Are handbags just a flex or a status symbol? And what's the difference anyway? Stick around. Hi everybody and welcome back. And yes, today we are talking about, are handbags just a flex? Or are they just a status symbol? Or is there any difference? Or is it the same thing? Or are there different reasons people buy handbags or buy one handbag over the other handbag? I actually did this video a couple of weeks ago on, is the Birkin just a status symbol? Brought herself out just for a bit of eye candy. I'm not going to lie, any excuse to bring her out because, yeah, I'm just not going to lie. I'm very proud of owning her. Worked hard for her. So anyway, as I was saying, first of all, I want to say shout out of the day is to Jude Allen. Hi Jude, how are you? Big kiss for you. And the perfume of today is one that was actually gifted to me by Hermes, and I'm going to try it out. I have tried it out just once and I have to say it's beautiful. It's called Eau de Merveille Bleu, and this one, maybe some of you have it. It's only in the sample size, obviously, and this one is like a marine woody aromatic. It's quite salty, aquatic. There's patchouli in there, so it's like sea notes. It's very unisex. The 100ml price, the 100ml size is about £70 sterling. It's clean and fresh and kind of a beachy kind of a vibe off it. Ooh, don't want to spray it everywhere now, do I? But yeah, very fresh, very green because of obviously the patchouli in there. And you know, I have the Flora Botanica by Balenciaga, not unlike that I suppose because of the patchouli, but a cute little one and definitely worth, if you like that salty, fresh, beachy kind of vibe, definitely worth trying out. So that's the perfume of today. Now, I had seen a video by SMOKEY GLOW and you saw it on the thumbnail. Also, I will stick her video up here somewhere. And also I saw Kat L had also done a Get Ready With Me talking through her video. Her video is basically called The Bizarre World of the Birkin. Now, of course, that thumbnail was very interesting to me and any handbag lover, any Birkin lover out there, us looks lovers. It was very interesting, and the girl has a really lovely personality. She's very down to earth. She comes across very sincere and genuine, and I watched all her video. I thought she had brilliant points to make and made them very articulately. She also did her research and went into the history of Hermes, and I really appreciated that fact. She put a lot of work into her video. So when I saw that video, I said, oh, you know what, I'd love to comment on this for a couple of reasons. A, because I've just got my Birkin and I have a vested interest in it, and B, because I'd already done, is the Birkin just a status symbol? And actually there was the third one was, when we had done this video before, and it was Yota Style who created the video. Hi Yota, how are you? And it was a brilliant concept of a video, and she tagged lots of people and became a tag, and lots of us in the looks community did it. So I thought, well, this is interesting because a lot of people said it's not a status symbol. A lot of people said it was. I said it was. I still say it is. And so I just wanted to go back on that because some people who said it wasn't a status symbol said, you know, have said in other videos that they like to flex. So I was like, well, what is the difference? Just as a conversation, I thought this is really interesting. If people kind of, is there a difference between flexing with your handbag or it being a status symbol? Like, what is the difference? This is so fascinating to me. So I went a course. Obviously, I've nothing better to be doing in my life. You know, it's Saturday night and I'm doing this video, so obviously not out there dating, am I? I'm chatting to my friends. Grab a drink, by the way, grab whatever you want and let's have a little chat. So the definition of flexing is showing off one's status or wealth, okay? And then the definition of status symbol is possessions that are taken to indicate a person's wealth or high social or professional status. Same thing if you ask me. Now a lot of people might come back and say, no Viv, they're not the same thing at all. I think, you know, buying something for social status or buying something to flex are exactly the same thing, and they're just different terms. Now, Kat had an interesting point on this, and she said that flexing is something of a generational thing, and it's, you know, the millennials now are flexing and it's a new term. It may be a new term, but it's definitely not a new concept. People have been flexing, showing off, you know, in the 80s with whether it be their status symbols or their Gucci emblems all over their outfits and their logos and this, that and the other. It's definitely, the flex culture is not new, and it's not the millennials' fault for sure. So that's my take on it anyway. But let's dive into it a little bit further as to why do people flex, or why do people feel they need, you know, status symbols? Why do people even buy a Birkin, to be honest with you? And again, for lots of different reasons. And yes, I think absolutely some people buy the Birkin just to kind of show off and just to kind of go, hey, look at me, I'm better than you, or I could get this and I'm in a private club and you're not in that private club. And there are lots of different reasons why people buy the Birkin or any other handbag that may be expensive. I know a lot of people say it's the quality, how it's made, it's hand sewn, it's hand stitched, it's handmade, the artisans, it's one artisan. If you actually look up the, you know, that varies depending on where you do your research. Some of the research says it takes 3 months. Some of the research says it takes 20 hours, 48 hours. It varies depending on where you get your research. So it's actually quite funny. And of course, that is what Hermes wants us to believe, because they are amazing at their marketing, amazing at their branding. And they are one of the very few brands that have kept their the brand family owned over the years. Now, in the past few years, it has been taken over. But I think, to be very honest with you, you know, the mystery of the bag, I think that's what's intriguing to me, to any other handbag lover out there, that it's intriguing. It's a mystery. It's almost like when you go on a first date and you say to yourself or your friend or whoever else, well, I'm not going to kiss him on the first date, and I'm not going to do this, and I'm not going to do that, first, second, third base until whenever. You know, you hold on to the prize, because once a person gets the prize, they're not really interested anymore. And it's like that with a handbag, I think. And I think this is where marketing is, like, Hermes are a masterclass in marketing, a masterclass in advertising and branding for anybody out there. If any of you are in university, do your thesis on, if you're in marketing, on Hermes, because it's amazing. And it is, you know, they really have to be admired for their branding. And their USP years and years ago, unique selling point, was that first of all, they were in equestrian and horses and all that kind of stuff. But then they went into ready to wear, and they were the first people who put a zip, and they patented this, put a zip on the jackets on ready to wear. And this was their unique selling point, because nobody else had this. So people would have to go to Hermes for this jacket with the zip. And I mean, that was incredible in itself, and that made them stand out from the rest. And they carried on from there, and they continued carrying on from there, and they continued to branch out into other countries. But their thing was always quality, 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 and customer relations, and that is where they're at. They are not like Louis Vuitton, who I love, by the way, and I'm going to talk about them in a second as well, because I brought Missy Moo out here. They are not like Louis Vuitton, they are not like Gucci, they're not like any other brand out there. Louis Vuitton and Gucci are happy to let influencers and other people like that to wear their products, to gift people their products, their bags, their clothes, because they want the everyday person to aspire to wearing their clothes, to think that, you know, make them think that the everyday person, I can wear that, and I can get that, and I can attain to that. Whereas Hermes are the complete opposite. Actually, we don't want you to buy our bags if you can't afford it, if you're not uber wealthy. Now, I'm certainly not uber wealthy. Hermes want it to be more exclusive. They want you to work for the bag. They want you to be loyal to the brand. What I actually really admire them for is the protection of their brand. They must take some serious pride in their brand, because it's all about the brand protection and the image protection and the value protection. So they don't want any Joe Soap out there wearing their handbags. There's nothing wrong with that. If you're a business and you want to market yourself in a certain way, that's smart. It's smart business. It really is smart business. And a lot of people will disagree with me and go, no, Viv, if you are able to afford the bag, you should be able to buy it. I agree that, you know, it would be nice to be able to walk in and to, you know, go up and try on 5 different Birkins in 5 different styles with different hardware and different sizes and different colours to see what suits your height, to see what suits your colouring. It'd be lovely. Just in general to be able to go in and go, yes, I'll have that one, please. I have the money. But they don't want that. They don't want that, as I think they want to keep the mystery. They want to keep that surprise, that lack of availability, because once we in our psychology, and they are masters of psychology, once there's any type of scarcity, and that is exactly what they have created, a scarcity kind of mentality among people, that everybody can't get this bag. There is a scarcity, and you are very special, and this is a massive point as well. You're so special to be able to get a bag. You're so special to be offered a bag. You're so special to be in the Birkin club. You're so special to be in the Hermes club, that I think it's so fascinating to watch this brand and how they work. And I actually now, to be very honest with you, didn't know that much about them over the years until I actually started YouTube, and you guys have all influenced me. We all influence each other, and I've learned so much in the last 2 years that I really, really love it. And yes, I have been totally sucked into the whole Hermes game, because I actually now admire them. I go, wow, that's incredible. That is standing alone. That's, and you might go, oh yeah, Viv, that's okay now because you have a Birkin. And you know, that's probably why you're saying that. It's actually not. Even before, when I had said to you, I put my name down and I was going, yeah, you know, and the more I learn about their history, I didn't know a lot about their history. I just thought, my God, yeah, so they're protecting their brand. That creates the value in the brand. That is, you know, why they are so expensive. People will say, oh, they're expensive because they're handcrafted, because they're hand sewn, because there's one artisan, because, listen, if you add all that up, it still doesn't add to the ridiculous prices that they are. It's because the value is so high in our minds, in the consumer's minds, the intrinsic value it has to us. That's why they are so expensive, because they can, because people are still looking for them no matter what. A lot of people now are turning to Hermes. This is another reason people are buying them, because Chanel price increases are just through the roof. They have kept, you know, Chanel and Louis Vuitton have kept increasing prices in the last couple of years. Hermes didn't do that, even though of course they have increased their prices, but not like 4 and 5 and 6 times over the course of a year. The other reason a lot of people would buy them is exactly that as well, because the people who buy them want to be set apart from everybody else, and I have this bag and you can't get this bag. That's some people's view. My view, to be very honest, on the bag and why I wanted to get the bag in the end was, first of all, as I had told you, it was chance on my arm, see if I could. And then secondly, it was more of an achievement. It was more of a goal. It was more of, you know, we all have these little stepping stones in our lives, and some people might say, well, I would never put that money on a bag, spend that money on a bag. But it all depends on your mind frame. It all depends on your perspective. Like, I have money in other different things as well, and I'm sure you all have as well. Some people might like to go out and buy 20 different outfits. Nobody judges them for having those outfits, and they're just sitting in their wardrobes, and they might amount up to the very same amount as the cost of a Birkin bag, over, you know, within reason and all the rest of it. If you're going out buying designer jackets, designer suits, designer shoes, designer this, that and the other, it depends on where you focus your money. And I like to focus my money in bags because I adore them, I enjoy them. It gives me fun. I could go out and drink it and smoke it and do whatever else I wanted with my money. But no, I chose to do this, and this is what really brings me joy. And then there's a community, so that's even better. Also, I'm going to say, and this might be a bit controversial, but people will say I'm buying it for the quality. And yes, there is no doubt. There's no doubt about the quality. I will say that 100%. Like, it's fabulous. And the stitching and even the piping, the glazing is amazing. I've nothing in it at the moment. She's been sitting inside. Like, the handbag is second to none, okay? But that doesn't say, is she still worth that amount of money? Like, yeah, she's an amazing quality handbag. But you can go, and we all know, there are other bags out there that you don't have to drop that kind of money, and they have amazing quality, and they're hand sewn or hand stitched or handmade. You can go to Italy and get these amazing bags on the market. So when people say that, you know, you can't deny that they are good quality and all the rest of it, but it's a bit of BS, because, you know, you want the bag because it's a Birkin bag. Let's just admit it. I definitely did, because it's a Birkin, because iconic because of the history, because of, not just because of the quality, because it's the best. Now, is it wrong to say that? Like, is it wrong to say you want to be the best, whether it be in education, whether it be a singer, whether it be a dancer, whether it be whatever it is? I wanted to achieve that because that's the top and that's where the perception is. If that's not your perception, then that's fine. There's a lot of people in the luxe community that say, no, I wouldn't be interested in a Birkin ever. I didn't even know, and I've said it on videos, I didn't even know if I'd be interested, but I became interested. And you evolve over time, and the more you see something and learn about something, the more you get interested. I'm sure you could agree with me here. People might say, well, it's not an investment. Well, the minute you walk out of the shop, if you're lucky enough to buy one in store, you know, you can resell it if that's your gag or gig or whatever it is, for practically twice the price. I do not want to resell my bags for sure. That's why I took the stickers off. You know, there's certain bags I will resell. I don't want to resell her because it's my favorite color, because I think it's an heirloom as well. It's another reason I think it's a great, you know, pass it down to Katie. She's into handbags. There are some bags as well that don't hold their value so much. So, you know, people are clever enough in that some people will buy them because they hold their value. Some people will buy them for the love. It's a real sweet spot. If you can buy a bag you love and it holds a bit of value, and there is nothing wrong with saying that. I mean, talking about money is a very, very touchy subject for a lot of people, and people don't like to talk about it and they're kind of embarrassed and they kind of prefer to go, no, that's not the reason or whatever. Listen, just say it like it is. Yeah, I liked this bag for all of the above reasons, but also because it's a Birkin. Yeah, because it's the best. Yeah, I did. Absolutely I did. Why do we love LV? Why do we love Chanel? Why do we love... For practically the same reasons. And also because, yes, they are beautiful, well-made bags. Well, I know some of them quality's gone down, things like that. But another one is because they're hard to attain. Now, that's why I brought out my Pochette Métis. Because this bag for me was very, very difficult to get. Really difficult. I found it so hard to get it. I rang my friend Kieran Sweeney, who works for Louis Vuitton in Paris, and I asked him, he said, Viv, there isn't a chance, not a hope in hell in getting that bag. And anyway, eventually I tracked it down. It must have taken me, I'd say 4 or 5 months maybe to get this bag. If you remember, I bought the Lucky BB first. That was to kind of satiate myself and, you know, my handbag coveting. But anyway, it didn't work, and I've since sold that bag. I still love that bag. It was beautiful, but this is the bag I wanted. And that's another thing to always remember. Don't settle. If you know, if this is the bag you want, stay until you have the money or you can find the bag, because that itch will not be scratched until you get the bag you want. And I think that is why I've such a love for this bag, because it was hard to get. That delayed gratification, that appreciation, and I just think that that's pretty much exactly the same thing that Hermes do. It's the delayed gratification of getting the bag, going on the wait list, on the wish list, even all the wording and the terminology that they use, like you're on a wish list, you're offered a bag. Like, it's all like being a kid at Christmas. Like, it's all, and you might go, it's ridiculous. You might go, and it is, but I mean, if you look across the world, across every product, whether it be a car, a house, an outfit, watch, jewelry, it's the same game. Marketing, branding, advertising, it's all the same game, it's all the same business. So you can't put somebody down for the way that they decide to run their business. That's their choice, and it's your choice and my choice if we decide to either, you know, opt in or opt out. It's our decision. The other thing I wanted to talk about was, I mean, Hermes then branched out and evolved into scarves and things. And again, it was a status symbol among the wealthy in French culture years and years ago. Everybody had you know, an Hermes scarf. So of course that was a status symbol. And if you were wealthy enough, you know, it was, everybody had the Birkin, everybody had an Hermes bag, and that was just a given, and that was just the way it was. And they have held they've held their head up high, if you like, and they've maintained their brand value. Whereas Chanel apparently, and if you had have come across Purse Pop did an amazing I'll stick up a piece, an amazing article on, is Chanel losing its brand value? And actually Smoky Glow talked about this as well, and I had seen it before that. So because everybody now, you know, they everybody, okay, everybody in our community, we know not everybody in the real world is walking around with a Chanel bag, but they just feel that, you know, are too many people wearing Chanel. A lot of people say in Korea, and Korean actresses, you know, they all wear the Chanel bags. And actually, I think Hermes, were they giving Korean actresses now the Birkins and things to wear, as I'm sure it's like branding rather than the influencers, that's their way. And I think as well Chanel were thinking about, you know, introducing that quota as well, that you can only have 1 or 2 classic bags a year, because they have to protect their brand value and the value that they have in the brand. And that's why with Hermes you're only allowed a certain amount of bags a year, because first of all you could be reselling them, you know, and then they don't want them to flood the market and everyone walking around with Birkins. People lose interest, people get bored. This way they keep the mystery, they keep the exclusivity, they keep that feeling and emotion of elation and delight and appreciation and gratification when you do get a bag. That is what I think they are interested in, and I think that's why people have said before in videos it is so important to have a relationship with your SA, because it's all about the relationship. They want to see what kind of people are representing their brand, and there's nothing wrong with that. You know, I mean, people might go, oh what, I'm not good enough to wear a Birkin, or I'm not good enough to wear, you know, I suppose at the end it's not about that, it shouldn't be about that, but I mean, advertising, marketing, and that's the way of the business. It is the way of the business. They want to protect their brand. They want a certain kind of person to wear their product. They would use a particular model that would represent their brand and that would convey a message, because marketing is all about conveying a message of, you too can wear this bag, you too can be that person, you too can be, you know. And so that's what they're doing, and that's what Hermes are doing, and that's what they're all doing. At the end of the day, it is a case of, you know, I got a Birkin, or I got the call. It's that name brand recognition that they do so amazingly well. It's second to none. It's not touched by anybody else, because we can all walk in and get a Gucci. We can wrap that up there. We can all walk in and get an LV. Well, you know, it depends. They're getting harder to get, as you know. We go on the site and that's not available, and this is not available. And then Dior doing things like they're showing videos of handmade stuff. So they're all learning, copying, or being inspired by each other. You know what it is? It's about what the bag means. That's what it is. But what the bag means to you. To some people it's because my mother wore this bag for years. I've seen it in my family for years. I didn't see it in my family for years. I learned about it as I would have seen them, I suppose, when I started modeling in my 20s. You know, we would have done nice fashion shows, and the ladies at lunch were all wearing their Birkins. So that was when I was introduced to them. And you're definitely influenced by what you see, what you are around, what you do every day. Definitely 100%. And that leads on to how we feel and how we feel about the brand. And we want that because, well, we admire that person over there that has that bag, and we kind of aspire to be like that person who has that bag. And you know what? There's nothing wrong with that either. I think Hermes want to stay exclusive, and I think they like the whole surprise element. And by the way, Chanel do too, and that's why with Chanel you never see everything on their website, all of their products, because their marketing strategy is a little element of surprise, because I think that's what keeps us intrigued. That is what keeps us interested. That is what keeps us coming back for more. That maybe what else will they have? Because to be very honest, as you and I know, if you know everything about somebody, or you know they're everywhere, you get tired of them. They're not as interesting. You know, you get a bit bored looking at them. And I think these brands want to do the very opposite. Stay exclusive, stay, you know, I suppose waving that carrot in front of us. And it's all about the emotion, how they make us feel. And that is what I truly feel about that. And even their staff, I know a lot of people say, oh, you know, they're trained, that it's like an interview going in there, which it is. You know, particularly I think if you go to Paris and then you have to get on and do the appointment system, and people fly to Paris specifically to, and I probably would if, you know, I'm only in Ireland anyway, so it's not that big of a deal, if I was really, because when I'm like that kind of as well. If I really want something, I'll go for it, and that's it. But I like being like that because I love a challenge. I love, whatever shape, form, whatever it is, I love a challenge. I just enjoy it. I get a bit of crack out of it. I think the staff are definitely trained to be discerning with people who come in. People will say, oh, if you don't wear the proper clothes. I mean, I wore, the day I went in to collect my bag, you know, I just wore my cargo pants and a leather jacket. I was nicely dressed, but I wasn't overly dressed. And I think that they have to be discerning. The staff have to be discerning, again, about who's representing their brand. Then maybe it's subjective in that who you get on the day depends. You could get a really nice person or someone who's having a bad day. So that's it, really. That is all I have to say. That I don't think Hermes will ever become like a diluted brand like other brands have. They will stay exclusive. That's where they want to stay. They want us all wanting the bag. And whether we're flexing or whether it's a status symbol, that's up to you, that's up to me, that's up to anybody else. You can also be very smart. Actually, some people say that over the last couple of years that to buy an Hermes bag was equivalent or even better than and more profitable than buying a house and flipping it. So there is a bit of business acumen there behind it, I suppose, as well. And then in the meantime, you get to enjoy the beauty. So that's my idea on the Hermes Birkin and the flexing culture and the status symbols. They're my 2 cents. I hope you enjoyed this video. I'm in love anyway, and I just absolutely adore this bag. It's like, I don't know, having your new car or your new home or your new whatever, your new little... I'm getting a lot of enjoyment out of it. I think that's the main thing. And you do you, we all do, I was going to say we'll all do each other. That was going to sound all wrong, all sorts of wrong. Just you do you. And I hope you enjoyed, and I'd love to hear your 2 cents down below. I'd love to hear what you think about the flex culture, if you think it's the very same thing as a status symbol. And let's start a conversation. I think I'll create a tag out of this, actually, because I think it would be interesting to hear other people's thoughts. I'd love to tag Isabel Style, Cassie Thorpe, Dale's Addiction, and let's go one more. I would love to tag Be Fabulous Irene. And that's it. Please subscribe for more crack and all the chats, and mind yourselves. Till next time, be kind, be safe, and be compassionate above all. Love you lots. Mwah.